How to make the perfect meal. Nutritional tips. Now, before we jump in, I could tell you that you need to eat balanced meals. I could tell you that you need to be keto. I could tell you that you need to be carnivore. I could tell you that you need to be vegan. I could tell you that my way of doing things is the only way that there is out there that will actually work for you. But I would be lying. So what I want to do is go over a few basics of meal construction, and then I want to offer from my perspective what the best way to go is on how to figure out how eating is going to serve you best, because everybody's different, right? Your body responds differently to different things. Also, we all have different desires. We all have different goals. We all have a lot of things going on where it can't just be a one blanket statement applied to all to be rocking and rolling on your nutrition. So let's break it down first and foremost. Across your meals and supplementation and anything else that you're ingesting, we're really just trying to hit macro and micro goals. Now, micronutrients, we're talking about vitamins and minerals. Macronutrients, we're talking about proteins, fats, carbs. I don't want you to get in the weeds here, right? Because at the end of the day, right, if you don't have a big fat loss goal, muscle gain goal, or what have you, you just want to eat to the best of your ability, more balanced, right? You want enough energy, right, day to day. That can come from a variety of sources of food. You want enough energy going into workouts that you can push harder so you can get more out of your workouts, right? You want to eat something that's going to sit well in your stomach, that's going to digest, that's not going to interrupt your sleep, that's not going to interrupt, your brain, your cognitive capabilities. And you want to also make sure that you're not have massive holes in your diet, right, where then your hormones are all jacked up. Now, I'm not a hormone doc, and we're not going to go into hormone dysregulation because that's such a trendy topic these days with coaches that most don't have any business talking about that. So what I really want to do, and we'll go through this, is just let me expose you to the things that that you could do, right? The way that our clients do it. Right? Caveat, the way that our clients do it, not the only way to do it, not the way that you have to do it, not the way that might even work for you, but the way that our clients eat and the way that we instruct them to eat is more of balanced meals. So you've got basically 3 meals a day, right? Roughly. And in between those 3 meals, you have some sort of protein supplementation, right? But on those meals, going breakfast and lunch, going protein, carb, right? Protein, carb, and leafy and green veggie. Doing the same thing for both breakfast and lunch, not the same foods, but the same food groups for both. And then at dinner, dropping that starchy carb, right, and implementing more of your fat, okay? So that could be peanut butter, that could be avocado, that could be any kind of nuts, that could be more butter, that could be a lot of things, right? Fat is not the enemy, I promise. Carbs aren't either, but we can talk about that later. So how do we make the perfect meal? Well, spoiler alert, outside of just having a balanced diet that's going to support your energy needs and also support your lifestyle, you really just want to be in a position where you're doing something that you continue to do day over day, week over week, month over month, and not be in a position where it becomes uber difficult to stay on. So what could be uber difficult? Well, hyper restriction could be, elimination could be, just eating gummy bears all day, every day could also be something that's not sustainable. It's hard to adhere to. So realistically on overall from meals and supplementation, you want to hit your macros, right? You want to hit your macros that are going to support your goal. And there's a whole nother video that we can go into talking about what that looks like based on your goal, just some general recommendations. But another thing there is that it would be beneficial if you ate a little bit balanced. It would be a little bit easier to get all of the micro and macronutrients that you need to live a sustainable life and also not live in the kitchen, also not live trying to prep food all the time, also not having to, prepare everything all the time, having just a little bit of an understanding. So, macronutrients, we break down to proteins, fats, carbs. Okay, that's everything. Carbs are not fat. Carbs are not bad. Fat is not bad. Protein is not bad. And it's not necessarily that there's a cutoff in excess of any of it. You just want to have an understanding of that every food is just made up of those, right? There's just a continuum of what it's more of and what it's less of, and what the better sources are. Meaning, like the more there's better There's better protein sources than peanut butter. This is a great example. Most people think peanut butter is a protein, right? It's really fat. Okay, there is some protein in it, but it's more of a fat source than it is protein source. So you don't want to get lost in thinking that, hey, this is good for this, and this is good for this, and this is the only thing that you can do here, and this is the only thing that you can do there. Realistically, you just need to find what works for you. So understanding macros, and that you don't need to be afraid of any macros, and also understanding micronutrients, right? Vitamins, minerals, and you don't have to get so granular and go into like, I need a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And if you're eating more of a balanced diet, it's really not a problem. But most people are not eating a balanced diet, and so it could be a problem. And while there's not evidence to support that a multivitamin, there's not empirical evidence to support that a multivitamin necessarily uptake of that then will lead to intake of more fruits and veggies. I would say that if you're in a pinch, having some greens powder or having a multivitamin is not going to kill you, right? Is it the best thing in the world? No, right? Eating real foods would be whole food sources over everything. But if you're in a pinch, or you're in a place where it's a little bit more difficult, that could be a great on-ramp for you and something that we use for our clients. Okay? Balancing meals, not only understanding micros and macros, but balancing your meals. And what we use is a portion method, right? So, you go thumb for fat, you go fist for leafy and green veggies, you go fist for carb, and then you go palm for protein. Now, I like to up my protein a little bit there because I try to hit about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, is that what you need to hit? Not necessarily by any stretch of the imagination. I enjoy eating more protein, right? I enjoy more of my calories coming from protein, so that's really what I do there. But just knowing kind of what you need and when, and a great example of this is making sure that around your workouts, prior to workouts, you have something that can give you a little energy, right? You don't need to be dosing out and cranking on pre-workout. You don't need stimulation, in the form of caffeine, 400, 600, 800 milligrams. You don't need all that, right? Use it if you want, but you don't need it. What you really should do is just pop a banana, right? Or some fruit. Or 2 bananas, right? And get that as your pre-workout, right? Maybe add a little honey, a little salt, and be good to go. It's not going to kill you, and it's actually going to allow you to push harder in workouts, thereby getting more out of your workouts. Now, you can't conflate that with your ego. Don't be just lifting heavy because you're trying to prove something to the girl on the other side of the room that has leggings on and her ass is out. You shouldn't shame her either, but also don't ego lift for her because that ain't it. Getting some sort of whole foods pre-workout, not going to hurt you. Actually, that's what I would recommend, right? And then really, outside of just like making the perfect meal, it doesn't mean that you have to meal prep everything. It doesn't mean that you can never eat out. It doesn't mean that you have to buy meal prep pre-done and then put it together. Like, you can cook if you love to cook. If you don't love to cook, don't cook, right? If you need a little bit of a breakdown on one of the restaurants that you could go to get solid food, holler. I'm happy to help. Okay. So understand macros and micros, planning for the balanced meal. And for all of you busy peeps, this is very difficult sometimes to do, but getting into a flow where you can make sure that at any situation that arises, you're good to go. What this means is you got to pre-plan. Doesn't mean that you have to prep everything, but you do have to pre-plan. Hey, if you know that there's, a Shell gas station between your house and work and you're running late and you aren't able to make food, it might be a great idea to figure out what kind of protein supplementation they have, what kind of fruit do they have there, what kind of, do they have beef jerky? Do they, what brands of protein, like pre-made protein shakes do they have there? What access do you have to other things? For planning ahead to make sure that you can get something that's going to support you, right? It's not about staying away from gummy bears. It's not about, staying away from chocolate. It's not about only eating chicken, broccoli, and rice at all. And in fact, if you want, you could do this, and I've done this many times without even gaining any weight at all. Pre-workout, hit 13 gummy bears, hit 1 serving size of gummy bears, and then crank a workout. It's very easy to do. Timing of certain things matter and can actually be net beneficial for you if you're not ready to drop them. No one can force you to drop them, but you don't also have to give up everything to get where you're trying to go, right? Keep that in mind. You don't have to give up everything. Nobody that's ultra shreddy gives up everything. And you're probably not trying to get ultra shreddy, or you wouldn't be listening to this, because that's not really what we do here. Do we get you to a place where you look better naked? Absolutely, objectively speaking. Do we get you to a place where you can feel more confident in your body? Absolutely. Are we going to give you the ability to have an understanding and empowerment around what you're doing? Absolutely. But there is no perfect meal. And I know that the title is clickbaity on purpose, because I want you to understand that there is no perfect meal. The perfect meal, if you're going to put it into any box, is a meal that you can consistently count on and use that supports your goals. So that could look different for everybody. That could be just a fat ass steak and some broccoli, if that's your jam. That could be, some tofu, some rice and beans, and that could be your jam. There's not a perfect meal that's a one size fit all. You got to figure out what you like, what you don't like, what do you have allergies in, what does your stomach agree with, because sometimes foods that are great for you, your stomach doesn't agree with, and that's okay too, right? That doesn't mean that they're bad. That just means that maybe they're not for you, and that's okay. Also, having an understanding of what's nutrient rich and what's nutrient deficient, okay? So looking at whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats from whole food sources, not a bad idea, right? Incorporation of veggies and fruits, right? So you get sugar, but you also are getting fiber. You're also getting micronutrients that if you're not taking something else to get those in, you're able to get those in. Right? And you don't have to be afraid of sugar. You don't have to be afraid of salt, and you don't have to be afraid of unhealthy fats. You do want to be intentional about where you're getting stuff from. But right now, where we're at, if you're listening to this, I wouldn't stress over that, right? And so, the perfect meal, again, the perfect supplement, again, the perfect protein powder, again, is the one that you're going to use consistently, is the construction that you're going to use consistently that's going to move you towards your goals. So that looks different for everybody. And you're going to have to do a little bit of testing, right? You yourself are going to have to take the action and get out there and see what you like and what you don't like. Same way that you have to do that for the gym, right? You have to do that. Now, the easiest way to have nutrition squared away is going to be to eat the same 5 to 7 things consistently day over day. Now, you might say, James, that's not fun. That's not novel. That's not anything I want to do. Well, then cool, don't do it. These are just recommendations. You don't have to follow anything. These are just recommendations. I would say that if you consistently eat the same 5 to 7 things or 9 things, week over week, day over day, week over week, month over month, you will be in a better position to be able to control your body fat percentage, right? And control your food intake. It's very hard to control if you don't know what you're eating and it's all novel. It's very hard to control. And that's okay, right? Send it. If you want to do that, send it. That's okay. No one's going to sit here and say that you're bad or this, that, or the other, or you can or you shouldn't, or food shaming. If they do, you should probably just cut them out. Cut out their opinions, not cut the person out, but cut out the opinions, because someone that's trying to use fear like that, and we all know them. There's people like Food Babe. There's people like Carnivore MD. There's people that are in all walks of life that that predicate themselves on just talking shit about a certain food groups and what have you. That's a problem, right? But you don't need to listen to them. Just find what works for you. And you can always increase stuff with 0 cal or 0 sugar condiments, spices, hot sauce, etc. That is always a thing that you can do. It is not hard to do. And it is something that is very easy and cost effective to go to your local supermarket and just grab something that's going to work for you there. Okay. And you can also switch it up, right? Again, all of this, it is your adventure. Make it what you want. Okay. Now, what I would say is that intuitive eating, until you understand nutrition, until you understand what day-to-day supports your goals, I wouldn't look at intuitive eating, right? I wouldn't just guess portion sizes. It's probably not going to set you up the best. Now, do you have to count everything always? No. Do you have to weigh everything always? Absolutely not. Do you ever have to weigh anything? No, you don't. I would just be mindful of what you are eating, because it's not usually that you're eating the wrong foods. It's that you're eating in excess of what you're expending, thereby gaining weight, right? And usually gaining weight super fast is going to also be gaining fat, a ton of fat at the same time. So if that's something that you're okay with, send it and go for it. If you are not in that camp and you are trying to get that down, I'd be very intentional about your portions. Okay, like we mentioned before, you could go the palm, the palm, fist, thumb method, you can do that. You go plates, you could go macros, you could go, if it fits in your macros, you could go, I'm going to hit my protein goal and then backfill everything else. Like, you can do it however you want. There's tons of ways to do it, but you want to be in a spot where you're intentional about whatever works for you. And you're going to have to try some things, and that's totally okay. Portion sizes also vary from person to person and from overall caloric intake. And not necessarily just male and female, but there's a lot of things that go into it. Don't overcomplicate it. Just start with where you're at. And then also understand that if you eat slower, you'll eat less food. Okay? If you eat slower, you don't shove your face full of food like we always like to do after we haven't eaten for 8 hours, me included, you'll eat less food. And really the last thing here is when you're thinking about meals, making sure that you're in a position where when you're trying to make the perfect meal, the meal that works for you, the meal that you can sustainably eat week over week, day over day, month over month, that you're also paying attention to your hydration. And you're also paying attention to the signals that you think are hunger signals. A lot of times we feel that we're hungry, but we're actually thirsty. We actually haven't had any water, or we haven't retained any water, or we haven't had any salt, or we haven't had any potassium, right? Or we haven't had any electrolytes. And I know that I'm being repetitive and saying things that are the same back to back, but just saying, oftentimes it's not that we're hungry, it's that we're thirsty. And that's unfortunately the truth that a lot of us don't realize until sometimes it's too late. So what can you do from here? Number one, you can try some things, be novel, try different constructions, try different meal times, try different portion sizes, figure out what feels like it works for you. And then also just understand that like it's a constantly varied situation depending on what your goal is and where you're trying to go and where you're at currently. So if you need some extra help, feel free to hit up someone on our team, drop into our Facebook group. It's Body Transformation Secrets for Ambitious Professionals. Follow us on Instagram. Hit me on my DMs. Hit me on YouTube. Comment on something. We're here to help. If you never want any help from us, that's cool. Keep watching our content. Much love for your attention. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone is out there living well, and you realize that the perfect meal, the perfect construction, the perfect nutrition is a nutrition that sets you up for your goals that you can consistently do. That's it. Take out the fear. Take out the fear-mongering, take out the rest of the nonsense, and just do what makes sense for you. And if you need some help, or you want to move a little faster, or you have a goal that you don't know how to plan for, hit someone on our team up. We'd be happy to help. Hope you have a great day. Peace.